that you would never leave me. I said that you would never stay at.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Harmonious World.
That home is where the heart is. Then that would make me a hotel. Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, I went to the 606 Club in Chelsea Harbour, which is one of my favourite venues. And I went to hear this guy sing. His name's Gavin Holligan, and the single from this debut album, which is called I Need a Song. The single that I heard that really gripped me was This Hotel Is Closed, which is a great song. It's the final track on the album. And the gig was really rather good. Gavin plays piano, but he has a band alongside him who really know their stuff. And this was a really, really nice opportunity to hear a singer-songwriter doing what he does best in a great little jazz cafe alongside his friends. And actually it felt like everybody in the audience were friends by the end of the show. It was a really, really nice atmosphere. If you get the chance to see Gavin live, please do. You will enjoy it. And you should check out gavinholligan.co.uk for all the information about his forthcoming shows. He's a very interesting man with a very interesting history, and that is part of why I want to speak to him, but also because I just really like this album. So we're going to be talking about I Need a Song. My name's Hilary Robertson, and I'll be talking to Gavin Holligan, and I hope you enjoy listening to the conversation.
Hi.
Hey, it's really good to see you.
Hey, likewise.
Welcome to Harmonious World, Gavin Holligan, erstwhile footballer and now singer-songwriter. And I have to say that gig at the 606 Club was extraordinary. It was really good.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we worked hard just to make sure that it felt like a relevant moment, just people paying to come out, on a Sunday evening. You don't want to just do the average.
No, and it was far from average.
Thank you.
Yeah, where did you find the guys? Because not wishing to be ageist or anything, but the three, the guitarist, bass player, percussionist, and drummer were younger. So how did you find them? Because they were great.
Well, the percussionist, if I'm not mistaken, is actually older. He's
yeah, that's true. He was hiding away, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was tucked away in the corner. James is a friend who I really enjoyed working with. So we've just been working. He's a drummer. We've been working on various projects because I also produce records. So sometimes I need people to come in, and he's done a few records with me. He's actually played on a few of my other records that haven't been heard yet.
Right.
But so yeah, I've worked with him on a few things. And Eduardo, who is the bass player. I met on a session, and we just got on really well, and we just kept in touch and been working together on bits and pieces over the last year. And James, I met because I was doing a gig, and I asked my bass player, my drummer at the time, if he knew anyone who could step in last minute, and he recommended James on guitar. And we just, again, had a great time, great bond, and just kept in touch. And any time I was doing anything, I'd ask him.
Right. And then there, of course, there was and I've forgotten their names, the pianist and the Hammond guy.
Yeah, Alex and Luke. So I have a studio unit in Tooting, South London, and they both work with me there at the studio. So Alex has got one room, and then me and Luke share a room. Luke and I go back a long time. Luke's a very seasoned, prolific musician and producer. And Alex is someone I used to back in the day, mentor and teach Alex sometimes. Not that he needed it. But, yeah, so Alex is kind of like a very fresh take on the musicianship I love, and just brings his own thing, you know, in a different way.
They sat well, didn't they? Sort of behind you in a way, just sort of backing up what you were doing. I love that interplay between the three of you, especially.
Yeah, it's special, and you know, we never really get to work together a lot because we're all very, very, very busy. So when it's like we have the chance on a gig like that, it's a joy, because it's unheard.
Yeah, and I mean, the audience was it was such a sort of friendly, it felt like everybody was right behind you and just wanted this to be a great gig, and of course it was, you know. But
yeah, I felt that too, actually, because after the first song, you know, you with these things, you never really have enough time to really get things the way you want them, and you know, especially when you're independent, you're a one-man band and you've got to cover every base. So after the first song, I was kind of like, okay, how's this gonna drop? And everyone, you know, immediately was just like right there, you know, clapping and supportive and cheering. So I thought, okay, we're good. We're all right.
Yeah, it was funny because I know Steve Ruby really well, and he sort of came on when he introduced you, and he was like, you know, just basically be quiet and listen and everything. And although there was a little bit of chatting, most people were just clearly there to hear you, to hear your songs, to hear the band, and it was lovely.
Yeah, I'm really grateful. I mean, a little backstory. Like, I've been working on this body of work, I would say this body of work, but some of these songs are like 15, nearly 20 years old.
Wow.
So it's been a long time coming in terms of like actually saying, right, here it is the final version, so to speak. And, you know, I know some of the people in the room I've known for over 10, 15 years as well. So I think because of the kind of journey it's been, that's why it was quite an emotional and, you know, engaging night, because I think a lot of people were like, oh wow, this is the results.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you say that, because it's like the finished version, but is it really? Because I've just had the weekend at Love Supreme in West Sussex, and everybody there, they were quite often playing songs that you've heard before, but obviously, you know, that's what jazz is all about, isn't it? That you're always polishing, you're always improving, you're always trying different things out. Yeah. And even Sister Sledge were incredible. They were amazing. Yeah. But they were still doing new things, and they'd got, you know, their kids coming on, and they've got all sorts of stuff. And I love that. You know, there's nothing worse than going to hear something and going, right, this is what we did on the album, so here it is, you know.
Right. I think there's a saying that I love as well when it comes to art and music, is that you never really finish anything, you just abandon it. And I mean, I haven't really tried these songs out live before, as you probably heard me say on the night. It's like the first time a lot of them songs are being performed, and definitely with that setup of a lineup of people. So of course, when you change one person in the band, things shift. You know, when you have a set list and you maybe need to change arrangement, things shift. When you want to extend the length of a song, things shift. So there's all of these variables that maybe go into, and then obviously if you've been performing for however long, like Sister Sledge have been, I'm sure they'll be probably bored of doing the same thing. So it may change a few things. But for me, I mean, like, I've Tribute to a Friend, which was one of the last songs I sung. I've been performing that since at least 2007. So, you know, people have heard that song before, you know, it's not a new song, but I think for me, every time I do it, I try to make it mean something else
Yeah.
Not necessarily that I've done it the same way, but it's a piano vocal song, so you can only do piano vocal songs so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, you put heart and soul, don't you, into your songs?
100%.
It's really interesting. These are, no wonder you got emotional on the night, because these are you laid bare in, and I love that. It's very raw, but in a considered way.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I mean, one of my what's the word, slogans is kind of moving songs and soothing music, or moving music and soothing songs. I can't remember, but I try to consider, like you said, consider what the listener is going to take away from the piece or the song or the lyric or the performance, and really almost like say what they might have gone through or been feeling, but in my own way,
right?
From my own perspective. So, for example, when I talked about Refund, which is the song that I did after having a conversation about being brokenhearted, I don't know if anybody would ever kind of see it as a transaction on a monetary level. But I think for most men with a logical kind of mathematical brain, they would kind of relate to that sentiment of, I've put all this in and I've got nothing left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if, I don't know if many people would do it like that, but I think it works for me because I've got that. I don't know. I'm a Cancer, so we're quite sensitive.
One of the other things that I really like is there's a lot of humor in your lyrics. Do you know what? I discovered you because This Hotel Is Closed was played on Just FM, and I just went, I love this song. And then, I found it on YouTube, and then found others of yours on YouTube and stuff like this. But some of the lyrics in This Hotel Is Closed is brilliant. It's like you've sat in a hotel room and gone, oh yeah, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that. I'm going to, it's like, it's brilliant. It's so, I love that sense of humor in what is obviously a painful emotional in that song.
Yeah, that's interesting because no one's picked up on that. I mean, everybody says they love the lyric and the wordplay on, just references from, a vacancy, for example, in the bridge. I think the bridge is one of those moments where it's like I go to town on the lyrical wordplay. But I think for me, writing is very visual. It's very vivid. So yeah, I think that's why I probably do that quite a lot in a lot of my songs. So you're actually seeing a scene play out, and obviously with the hotel, it's about hotel.
yeah, exactly. And the metaphor of that, of the hotel booking being the relationship, that's very interesting. It's like you talk about the refund thing as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like writing with purpose and directness, but also the poetry that comes with a lot of songs. Stevie Wonder is the best at it for me.
Oh, absolutely. And he does the same thing, doesn't he?
Yes.
There's a sense of almost drawing a picture in your head with the lyrics.
Literally, yeah.
And I think because of your singing style, you can hear the words really clearly. You're almost, it's almost like a spoken word poetry thing going on.
Yeah. I enjoyed doing that. Yeah. Just telling the storytelling.
Yeah, very good. So talking of telling the story, I obviously know your backstory. Tell us a bit about your football and how you made that jump from potentially earning a lot of money kicking a ball around to then kind of, music.
Yeah. I mean, when I was 16, I got into the Brits school, and I was there for 2 years, but I was still playing football on a county level. they'd allow me time off to go and play. And then when I was 18, I left the Brit School, but went for a trial with Kingstonians Football Club, who were a Vauxhall Conference team at the time. And they took me on, got into the squad. I was in the squad for the season. And then they'd put me on every game or two. And I'd score all the time. I'd always score or change the game. I'd done really well in the matches. So after 3 or 4 months, there was a lot of clubs coming to watch the games. And then, eventually West Ham put in a bid and I was signed to West Ham. So I was at West Ham for a couple of years. That didn't work out. And then I went to another club called Wycombe Wanderers and was there for a few years as well. And then I sort of transitioned slowly after that stint ended into part-time football whilst I was pursuing music. And then after a few years of that, then I transitioned completely. I've always been doing music from I can remember being alive. I've always been involved in music passionately. Some seasons more so than others, but I do remember one conversation I had with my dad, which I talk about all the time, when he was like telling me, you can do music whenever you want. You can't do football whenever you want. So maybe just go for the football first, and then after you've done that, you can transition to music, which is exactly what I did. I just did it quite early in my football journey.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. And it was great advice because I think I couldn't have now decided, I think I'll be a footballer instead.
No.
Yeah. But that's one thing I do love about music is that you can do it in various forms at various levels for various reasons in various ways. So, as I said before, like sometimes I'm producing and writing, sometimes I'm performing, sometimes I'm mixing. I'm quite blessed to be able to play various roles in the music field. And obviously I play as well. So up until now, I've been working on different projects with different people in different capacities. And now I'm kind of like, okay, let me try and focus on the artistry more.
Yeah, very good. Well, I'm glad that you are. And it's interesting, you talked about your dad. You obviously, your mums and your mum and your aunties were there at the 606 Club. You obviously, family is important to you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, with the music, my granddad was actually a pianist as well. He was from Barbados. He went back. He went back to Barbados. He's passed away now, but he was a pianist when he was alive. He used to conduct the choir. And then my dad was very much into music. He was, a big inspiration for me personally. He used to play me records, even when I was in the womb. He used to play me records with headphones over my mum's stomach. And so I've been listening to all sorts of classic music from before I was born, literally. And when I was born, I think they recognized my passion for music and was always contributing, opportunities, finding opportunities and putting resources behind my development. I sang at the Royal Albert Hall, I do believe, or Elizabeth Hall, I think, when I was about 10, in a little choir for school. And they bought me my keyboard when I was about 3. Said they could never get me off of it, even to come down for dinner. Wow. So we played in church, we sang in church. I have 2 little sisters that we used to sing together, lovely, lovely singers. One of them is currently touring with Michael Kiwanuka. She's very, very, very excellent vocalist and very much in demand as well. That's probably why she wasn't there on the night. But and then my other sister, who's actually doing midwifery, she's working as a midwife She also sings, very talented. And then her husband, my brother-in-law, is also a very amazing singer-songwriter as well. So yeah, in terms of like the gene, it's definitely a family thing. My dad was able to play a bit of saxophone.
Right.
So yeah.
Oh, very good. So what does the future hold? What's next? What's the next stage? Because obviously you're carrying on doing the producing and all that sort of stuff. And you've put this album, you know, I Need a Song, that's now out there. So what's next?
So at the moment, I'm working on a few new songs. I've started writing and I hope to sort of begin recording this month. There's a new single on the way.
Good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So you know, this album sits there and that's great, but I'm really interested to see where you take it from now, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this album is actually a limited edition, print only body of work. So if people want this album, there's only one way to get it, which is the CD. Once they're gone, they're gone. So I think the next body of work will be a lot more mass orientated. But you know, there's songs that I've already released online on this album, and yeah, I think if I'm gonna do a kind of a more sort of mass available body of work, I'll probably add a couple more songs, and yeah, who knows? I'm still working through ideas.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've got some really good sketches that I want to revisit and just finish the songwriting on them and get the band together. It's quite a laborious process. Actually.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Try to get. I mean, that song "Hotel Is Closed," I recorded that with Luke actually a long time ago. It was a completely different arrangement. I might have actually just throw it up online just so that people can hear the progression of the sound that I've been trying to find.
What's your cat doing?
She's actually having an absolute party here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know that song's been through a lot of morphing and now it's obviously out and finished. But I recorded that first in 2006.
Right. Wow.
So yeah, basically, long story short, it can take a long time to really carve the sound, especially when you're independent and you're funding everything yourself. You're waiting for favors for people to be free. So yeah, we'll have to kind of see how things evolve.
But it's interesting talking about being independent is that although that's true that you have to kind of call in favors or wait for people to be available or whatever it is, but nevertheless, the decisions that are made are yours. You know, you don't have somebody else going, no, it needs to be this speed, or it needs to be in this key, or it needs to be, you know, this type of feel because the last one you did was like this. And, you know, you don't have that. And actually, that's really nice.
100%. And I think that's another reason why it took a while, because I didn't want to get those decisions wrong.
No.
You know, experimenting and trying things out to see what feels right, what works, what's most authentic, what resonates. And I've been working with Chris Young at Nurture PR. And when he heard the song, he was just like, absolutely need to go with this one first, which I wouldn't have called actually. But because it was all kind of done and I'd expressed how I heard it and felt it and blah, blah, had no one telling me, no, you need to do this. No, it's not gonna, just done it. And now it's kind of like, well, this is what it is. You like it or you don't. And fortunately for me, everybody's been responding really, really well. So it means that I'm in a good place in terms of like knowing that, okay, what you hear, how you hear it, what you see can actually work. So there's no one able to tell me, well, don't think that's a good idea. Or
yeah. And I met Chris that night, and he's obviously he obviously understands the business, but he obviously understands you as well, which I think is probably why he chose that track.
Yeah, I mean, I sent Chris a whole bunch of tracks, and that was the one he was like immediately like, I really like this song. So he took time out to kind of listen through some of the repertoire, and I'm grateful because, you know, in a fast-paced moving world, it's rare someone is really careful about the art as well as the business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you've got to have somebody that's got both.
Yeah, you need both. Yeah. So I'm really grateful.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to send people to your website. So gavinholligan.co.uk, so they can check out and hear the new single when it comes out. I can't wait. I mean, I reckon by September it'll be out. So I've given myself a 6-week window to get my ducks in a row. Very good. Well, really nice to talk to you, and we'll definitely stay in touch.
Yeah, thank you, Hilary. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. Thanks, Gavin. Yeah. Great stuff. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to that conversation with Gavin Holligan, and check out the new single by going to his website.
Weak, I will be strong.
What you're listening to now is No Man Is an Island, which is also from I Need a Song.
You are my brother.
Thank you for joining me once more on Harmonious World.
I'll be a friend to you indeed. I'll be your brother. I'll be the smile upon your face when you are sad. I'll be the father to you that you never had. 'Cause we all need each other. Won't you take my hand? No man is an island. No man is an island. I look at you and I see me. A similar identity. You are my brother. The things I own I freely give, so that in harmony we live. You are my brother. I'll be the smile upon your face when you are sad. I'll be the father to you that you never had. 'Cause we all need each other. Won't you take my hand? No man is an island. No man is an island. With every man lives the boy inside. The boy who knows he's still mama's child. But every man is blinded by his pride. That's why the man won't let the boy cry.
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you. Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.